Good morning, Santa Clarita. You're listening to Wade Beyond the Courtroom on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm your host, attorney Wade Skalsky, and welcome to the first show ever of Wade Beyond the Courtroom. So first I want to start by just saying a couple thank yous. First, thank you to Carl and Jerry Goldman, Jerry Cerati Goldman to be correct, and also to Peter Marquez, my engineer today. And of course, you, the listener, for joining us on this rainy Sunday. I'm sure there's a lot of things you could be doing other than listening to the radio, but thank you for joining us. So, before we begin, I want to lay some ground rules for Wade Beyond the Courtroom. As this is the first show, I want to give you, the listener, just an idea of what we're going to be talking about as we go forward. First, I want to take you behind the curtain. I'm not wearing a suit today. I'm not wearing a tie today. I actually am a lawyer, but I will not lawyer you. I want to be real, relevant, and relatable. We're going to be serious, but we're also going to have some fun. And basically, look, I'm going to make some mistakes, and I'm going to make a promise to you. Over the 17 years that I've been an attorney, I actually learned a really, really good strategy that works every single time for handling mistakes. And that strategy is, I'm sorry. So if I make a mistake, if I violate a rule, most importantly the FCC rules, that's what I'm going to say. So let's get started a little bit. I'm going to start with a little personal anecdote, and today we're going to be talking about basically what is a lawyer really. There's a lot of us around. I'm sure some of you have ideas of what a lawyer is. And I was sitting on a stage on Friday night. I was at a graduation, watching some of my students graduate, and I was thinking, all right, when I started, when I was graduating from law school and I had an idea of what a lawyer was, I was like, okay, what is going to happen going forward? I had this idea of standing in a courtroom and pounding on desks and having lawyer moments. And these moments basically was what I was going to look forward to. But as I went forward over the last 17 years, I kind of discovered that the perception of what I had is not actually what was going to happen. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. I'm going to take you behind the curtain. So basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to someone that's going to help us do that. We're going to play a little game called Real or Not Real. And in doing that, I brought someone in the studio to help me today, an actual real actress who was last seen dodging some CGI tornadoes on a debris field here in Valencia. And that person is my beautiful wife, Kristen Hagen. Kristen, how are you doing today?
Hi, Wade. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well. Thank you for coming into studio today.
Thank you. I actually did not know that we were coming here today. I actually didn't know that you had a radio show, so congratulations.
Thank you.
It's very exciting.
Thank you. Yes, I tricked you. You thought we were going to have brunch today, and we actually came to the station. So perfect. So Kristen is actually a working actress. She's been working, in film and in TV, and she's actually going to help me today with Real or Not Real, a segment about lawyers in the movies. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, Kristen, I know that you've seen My Cousin Vinny because we watched it last week.
We did.
Yes.
Well, and I've seen it many times before. It's one of those great films. It's funny. It's really rewatchable. Like whenever it comes on, even if it's in the middle, you find yourself just watching it again.
Or like the last 30 seconds, I'll even watch that.
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. So what we're going to do, and we're going to help people, is I want you to think about some of the things that happen in the courtroom scenes of that movie. And then we're going to play the game, is that real or is that not real? How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Okay, perfect. So take it away.
Oh, I'm taking it away.
All right.
Okay, so watching the movie, when you're watching it, there's a couple of questions that I had, and one is Joe Pesci is constantly getting into trouble with the judge, which is kind of like an ongoing gag, and it's funny, but then you start thinking, can that really happen? And one of the things that he's constantly getting in trouble for is his wardrobe. He's not dressed appropriately. He's got some crazy suit on or a leather jacket. I can't really remember the particulars, and the judge holds him in contempt for that. So one, I guess, what is being held in contempt of court? What does that mean? And two, can you actually be held in contempt of court for your wardrobe?
Okay, good question. That's a good question. So let's talk about first what contempt of court is. Not too exciting, so we won't spend too much time on that. But that's effectively when the judge is going to say, all right, you're disrespecting the court, or you're disrespecting the office of the court, and you're not doing something I'm asking you to do, so I'm going to hold you in contempt. All right? He can fine you, he can put you in jail, and he does that typically to the lawyers, but he can also do that to people. So let's talk about Joe Pesci's wardrobe. I think he was wearing a suit that looked like it was from I don't know, like the 1700s, some kind of velour thing.
He had to like rent like a Western themed
telling-
velour. Although that would be very retro today, and that would be at the height of fashion.
If I could find
you
it,
wore that now.
I would wear that today if I could find it. But anyway, so let's talk about dress. Most lawyers actually get this right. I mean, you have to wear a suit, or if you're a woman, you have to wear some kind of suit. Where people get it wrong, actually, is effectively people in the audience. So normal people, the public who come into court and basically say, wear shirts. I've seen it that say shirts that say basically a curse word and then blank nice, which is a shirt that I saw, which I was like, okay, you can't really do that. So just a hint for everyone out there, if you're going to go to court, don't have explicatives or obscenities on your shirt. You could basically have a big time problem with the judge. So when we come back, we're going to learn some more real or not real with the talented Kristen Hagen. You're listening to Wade Beyond the Courtroom on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. Again, I'm your host, Wade Skalsky, and we're talking to you in a bit. Welcome back. You're listening to Wade Beyond the Courtroom on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm your host, attorney Wade Skalsky. And when we left before, we were talking about real or not real, the movie My Cousin Vinny, and what happens in it. Is that happen? Is it real or not real? We were talking about let's not wear wacky outfits to court if possible. That's always good advice. And my beautiful wife, Kristen Hagen, the actress, is here with us to help us with this. So, Kristen, welcome back.
Thank you.
You didn't go anywhere in the last 30 seconds.
No, I'm still here.
All right.
They locked the door,
Yeah,
so
I know.
I'm just
Tough to get out.
But I was just thinking of the person that wore the shirt with the expletive.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's so interesting because in the morning, you wake up, where am I going today? What kind of outfit? I have a crisp white shirt. I have this nice blue shirt. I just got back from the dry cleaners. I'm going to pick the one that says blank nice and wear it to court.
Yeah.
That just it feels right to me. It feels good.
Yep.
Let's do it.
I don't think she put much thought into that, so that's, I wanted to stay and see the fireworks between her and the judge because I knew that judge and little crotchety, that judge, but I decided I had somewhere else to go. So
that's an example of when it would actually be real, where you possibly could be held in contempt of court.
Absolutely.
And you should be, really.
Yes, it's disrespectful. It's disrespectful. And another thing, too, is but crazy things do happen in court. Actually, a couple of weeks ago, I actually saw an attorney with a service dog in court, which was very interesting.
Oh, like a therapy dog?
Yeah, like a therapy dog. It had the blue vest, and I don't know what the issue was, but it was really strange to have a dog in court. So that is real. That's not something. It didn't happen in My Cousin Vinny, but things like that do happen.
Now, was that a real therapy dog? Because you know that you can just go online and order those vests.
I know.
So you can take your pet wherever you want, which I actually approve of. I have no problem with that whatsoever.
The reason why I know that is because my wife and I have actually debated doing that. We came on the side of not doing that, but we're a little overbonded with our dog. But let's move on, all right? So give me another example.
No, I don't care. What kind of dog was it? I like the therapy dog concept.
It was a golden retriever. It was a big golden retriever.
It was a big dog.
Yes, exactly. Not intimidating. Very friendly.
So if you show up at court and the attorney that you have hired has a therapy dog, should you or should you not be concerned?
I'm going to say don't be concerned because it's a lawyer who knows how to handle their stress and what they need. So that's good. You want that.
But I think about that. Okay, so there's a therapy dog. What if the therapy dog gets stressed? What if the therapy dog
have a therapy dog?
A therapy dog.
It could happen.
Like that golden retriever is stressed out. He's always a therapy dog for the attorney, for the other people. What if he needs like a smaller dog, like a spaniel or some type of chihuahua? That's his therapy dog. Would that be permissible?
I would just be more impressed that first therapy dog knows how to use the internet to find his second therapy dog.
That is impressive.
But that's just me. So, all right. My Cousin Vinny. Awesome. Give me another example. Let's do real or not real in this game. So far, we're 1-0.
Okay. So also in the movie, Joe Pesci is constantly getting in trouble with the judge for his, I guess you would call it, disrespectful attitude. Mm-hmm. I think he curses a few times and he's held in contempt. Does that happen? Is that real? Real or not real?
Okay. Actually, real, and I can tell you from personal experience, when I was a young prosecutor, I was 25 or 26 years old, I was embroiled in a very contentious case, all right? And when you're in a trial, and this is, if you ever go watch a trial, they're open to the public, you can go watch them. Effectively, what happens is that you're supposed to talk to when there's an objection, the lawyers are supposed to talk to the judge, and the judge is supposed to say, sustained or overruled. You don't talk back and forth with each other. And so there was this other attorney, and we were getting this giant contentious argument about this objection with the judge. And then I was young. I was 25 years old. I got hot under the collar. And then the attorney and I started talking back and forth to each other, which you're not supposed to do, right? You're supposed to go just to the judge. And I might have got a little excitable, and I might have uttered something that is not allowed to be uttered by the FCC. And there is a court reporter that is in there. And so that forever in that transcript is that mistake. And that's the funny thing that people don't understand about being an attorney is that when we are in trial or we're even just in regular courtroom appearances, every single thing that we say is taken down by a very nice court reporter. And so we have to learn basically to do what's called keep a record. And one thing I'm always going to try to do with this show is try to let the people, the people that are listening, you the listener in, to learn things about court kind of in a way like this. And the thing is that everything in court typically is either recorded or taken by a court reporter. And unfortunately for me, that mistake, that gaffe, if you will, is forever emblazoned in history in that transcript.
But when you watch, lawyers in the movies, you always hear that where they're like, strike that from the record. Mm-hmm. Is that the judge? So you can't say that as an attorney
you can,
for your
actually,
own last statement?
You
if
can.
You said something you want to take back?
You can actually strike that from the record, but you can't strike your own mistakes from the record. You have to have a legal reason, and hey, I made a mistake is not a good legal reason to strike something from the record. I wish it was, but it's not. And frankly, look, that's the one thing that you want to have a lawyer that's experienced because, I've been practicing for almost 17 years, and in that time, I've made mistakes. And the great thing is now is my clients now that have me help them now get the benefit of having me made all those mistakes in the past, so I don't make them with clients and cases now. So, well, on the other side of the break, I'm going to let you in on two little secrets. One, I'm going to tell you how you can become a lawyer without going to law school. And then the other issue we're going to talk about is how many actual lawyers are there in California. You're listening to Wade Beyond the Courtroom on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. You're listening to Wade Beyond the Courtroom on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm your host, attorney Wade Skalsky. Now, before the break, I made you a promise that I would tell you how you could become a lawyer without actually going to law school. And then we're going to get back to a little bit of real or not real. But there are 185,669 active lawyers in California as of yesterday. Wow. And as everyone knows, the path to becoming a lawyer normally is graduate from high school, graduate from college, graduate from law school, take the bar, you're a lawyer. But there actually is a way that you can become a lawyer in California without having to go to law school. You can apprentice to another lawyer or a judge for 4 years, and you don't have to pay the $100,000 to $200,000 that it costs to go to law school. Now, that's a very uncommon way to do it, but if any of you listeners out there decide you want to go to law school, that's another way that you can do it and not have to pay for it. You effectively have to work for free for somebody else, but I always found that interesting. I wish I would have known that before I would have started forking out those tuition payments.
How common is that, though, for people to go that route?
I've actually never met anyone that's done that, but yeah, exactly. But it is in the rules, and you can do it, and I'm trying to encourage my brother to go be a lawyer. Maybe I can get him to work for free for me for 4 years.
Great idea.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about back to my cousin Vinny a little bit, and real or not real. You had something you wanted to share with me. You were talking about.
I was just thinking in general about the strike it from the record comment, and I just thought that wouldn't it be just wonderful if you could just use that in just everyday life? Like if you said something like inappropriate or awkward or embarrassing, you just shout out like at a cocktail party, strike that from the record, and just everyone would delete the last thing that you just said.
Not only would that be awesome, but I could have used that last night when you and I were arguing about what we were going to talk about today.
Yeah, exactly. You tried that when we're arguing. I'm like, that won't cut it here, sir.
Strike that from the record, Kristen. We will not be talking about that at all. So let's get one more in about my cousin Vinny, real or not real.
Okay, but before I say that, can I just go on record as saying you have a very delightful radio voice.
Oh, thank you very much.
If you could use that voice at home,
yes.
you'd probably get your way more often. That is a
Kristen,
lovely, lovely voice, sir.
I would like to strike that from the record, please. Okay. Perfect.
Okay, so in the movie, I love this movie. One of them, is the whole thing is I believe he's a personal injury attorney, and he has experience in that, but he has no trial experience. He certainly doesn't have murder trial experience, and he's their lawyer.
Right.
Would that ever happen? Does that ever happen? Is that real or not real?
Well, strangely enough, actually, you can represent someone in a murder case in California with no prior trial experience. It doesn't happen, and the judge would probably have to question you to make sure you kind of knew what you were doing. But it's not very obviously. No, what happens is the way that normally people work is that you start out on a low-level case. So when you make a mistake, it's a low-level case on a misdemeanor, or it's a low-level case on a traffic ticket. Case in point, when I was a young prosecutor and just finding my way, I was in a trial, one of my own jury trials, and in closing arguments, I made a huge boo-boo. In fact, if there are any lawyers listening, they're going to judge me relentlessly and say, "I can't believe that you did that." I commented on the defendant's right. I collaterally commented, which means that I commented on it I didn't directly talk about it, but I sort of made an innuendo about it, about the defendant's right to remain silent. Now, in the United States, if you're ever accused of a crime, you always have the right to remain silent. You never have to say anything. You never have to say anything to the police, and that's set in stone. It is one of the cornerstones of our justice system, and I made a giant mistake, again, on the record, can't strike that from the record. But I was a young prosecutor, and it was on a tiny misdemeanor case. We get all worked out. But yes.
So what happened? Did you feel like a lot of heat? Like, was the judge looking
I got
at
all
you?
sweaty. Like, I knew the moment I said it, I knew that it was a problem, and I got all nervous. I got all sweaty. The defense attorney was screaming at me. The judge threw his pen and was mad, and the jury was like, they didn't know what had happened because they're like, "Oh, what happened?" Right? And
you know what? That's the exact type of situation that someone finds themselves in right before they get a therapy dog.
That's right. If I would have had a therapy dog, I might not have made that mistake.
That's
Absolutely.
correct.
Yeah. So, and the funny thing, the good news is though, is that when you have those kind of mistakes, and like, look, one thing about, this show is that I believe that we all make mistakes. We're all human beings, and the good thing about mistakes is that we learn from them. And so you can bet that in the last 17 years, from that mistake, I have never come close to making anything even remotely like that, because I remember exactly what it felt like. And that's, as a lawyer in any job, really, if you're in radio, if you're a radio engineer here, like my good man, Peter Marquez, I'm sure when he started, he made, maybe a mistake or two, maybe just one, and then you just needed one. Yes, exactly. And that's how he becomes good.
Well, the thing is, when you first start out, like in the movie, how do you know like all the procedures, the proper terminology? You have to learn that partially by making mistakes, because they don't specifically teach that in law school.
Well, they do in certain classes. So you take the rules of evidence, you take and then when I was a prosecutor, the office that I worked in, they trained you. And so I just got nervous, and we all know that when we get nervous, like when if you ever get nervous as an actress going into an audition, you may have prepared, but then you say something that you didn't mean to say. And when we get nervous, people do that. So that's the funny thing about my cousin Vinny, is that he doesn't even really get nervous in that movie. That's what I find that's not real. So in real and not real, that's one of the issues that is not real.
He doesn't know enough about what he doesn't know to get nervous.
Right. Exactly. Well, Kristen, I really want to thank you for coming on in today. It was such a pleasure to have you in here, and really hope that we'll be able to get you in here again on future shows of Wade Beyond the Courtroom. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Wade.
All right, perfect. So I want to thank you, the listener. It's a rainy Sunday, for coming on in today. And again, thank you for listening to Wade Beyond the Courtroom, your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I'm your host, attorney Wade Skalsky. Join us next week when we're going to talk about the biggest mistakes that normal people make when they go to court. Stay safe, and we'll talk soon.